This is Joseph Coco. I'm at TCAF 2015 on behalf of Becca Hilburn's Art Process blog. Keep on trucking, Natto Soup. It's the end of the first day. If you could introduce yourself, Vera, please.
My name is Vera Greentea, and I'm the founder of Greentea Publishing, and I write books called Recipes for the Dead, Nanette of the Forgotten Spirits, and Papa.
Okay, awesome. And I first met you at New York Comic Con. How long have you been producing the Recipes for the Dead and your other lines?
So I started about 4 years ago.
Okay. And you were primarily self-publishing smaller books before then, like
that's
mini comics.
I didn't publish anything before then. I had a completely different job, and I'm like, why am I doing this? I'd rather do comics.
Yeah, well, you obviously had a lot of skill and talent coming into the comics industry. What were you doing before comics, if you don't mind me asking?
I wrote letters to rich people asking for money on behalf of a hospital.
Okay. And you're self-trained, or you went to a university?
I went to school for English and art history.
Okay.
So no art training or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I read a lot of books.
Yeah.
That helps.
Right. So some of the books you work on, you also write, correct? But some of them...
almost all of them so far I write, but there are a couple that I do take from other people and they write and draw.
And that's something you had planned to do all along, or you're just waiting for the right writer to come along?
No, I just sort of wait. And when I see something, I also invite people to come and write for me. So we'll see.
Okay.
I spend more time, I guess, writing than asking people, but when I see good work, I'm just like, come!
Yeah, that makes sense. So what are some of the inspirations for your work? I was first introduced to it with Recipes for the Dead. I believe you had both issues at NYCC. Where did the inspiration for those issues come from?
Cooking, for the most part, as you can tell from the title. I love baking a lot. I spend a lot of time just in the kitchen, just hanging out and making things. And one day I thought, I'm not that great of a baker. I'm a much better writer. Maybe I should write about baking.
Yeah, well, unfortunately I don't have the comics in front of us right now because we had to move away from the table, but it definitely doesn't look like you just picked up on visual art. You have quite a knack for it. Your work is entirely digital or primarily digital?
Well, I'm the writer, but
I'm sorry, yeah.
No, it's okay, but the artists that I work with tend to be a sort of in between, like hybrids. Most of them have already went over to mostly digital, but a lot of them do both, where they use Copic markers and then clean it up with Photoshop.
Okay, that makes sense. So it starts off as markers and then they move towards Photoshop. Okay. And what's been your experience with TCAF? Is this your first time coming to the show?
This is my first time and I love it. It's an amazing convention full of first of all, everybody here is super nice and just and all the work here is just amazing, and I don't know, everything I've seen so far has been just really, really pleasant.
Okay. What other conventions have you done aside from TCAF? Have you mainly done independent comic conventions?
No, I've done New York Comic Con, and I'm done and doing a special edition also in June. And I've done smaller New York
Where's special edition?
So that's in New York. That's New York Comic Con's other convention.
Okay.
I guess Repop, I think. And it's just a smaller convention based only for comics artists, less on cosplay, more on the comics.
Yeah.
And it was good last year. That was the first year. This year it's going to be the second year. We'll see. Hopefully it will grow into itself. But it's already been great for me last year.
Awesome. So do you have any upcoming projects that we should know about? You mentioned you mentioned the next Nintel was coming out soon, correct? Right.
Yeah,
Issue
number 3, out of 4 is coming out, and then 4 hopefully will follow soon after.
Okay. And you've already written out everything for those?
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, and what's been your experience working in the comic industry as a writer? You just jumped straight into comics, you said?
I did, yes.
Okay.
Oh, it's a very interesting experience.
Is there a lot of back and forth with the artists that you've worked with, or you've known them for a while, so things are pretty cut and dry?
I don't know if they're cut and dry, but I've known them. I meet them as I do the work, and then we sort of just find out each other's personalities throughout the working of the comics.
Yeah.
Which so far has luckily turned out only great, but could have been bad.
Would you have any advice to someone who's considering becoming a writer for comics?
Yeah.
Like, how would they get into the industry?
Well, my biggest advice would be to start writing something smaller, something that you know you can finish.
Right.
And then once you finish it, start writing something else, and just that's how you get better. If you start writing with something really big and an epic, you're just gonna most people, I feel, end up floundering. But if you write smaller things one at a time, and just you learn faster, and you get more work out there, and then you can show it to people like editors and publishers and show them what you can do.
Okay. So what's been your experience at TCAF in comparison to some of the New York shows that you've done?
It's friendlier people, I think.
Yeah, New York doesn't exactly have a reputation to be the most friendly place. So.
It's not the most friendly. New York has some good pros going for it, but TCAF it's a really sweet little convention. I guess it's not that little anymore, but it's really sweet, and it's just. I love that it's in the library.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of libraries, so just seeing this one has been amazing.
Yeah, I read an interview with Chris Butcher, and he said the most distinct thing about TCAF is that it's so strongly partnered with the library, and that everyone in the United States believes that's just never going to happen at this scale anyway.
Right.
Obviously, there's lots of small local comic book conventions, but something to the scale of TCAF just is difficult for the United States government, apparently. So would you have any advice to someone who's considering coming to a writer who's considering tabling at TCAF for the first time?
Well, today was my very first day doing that, and without going in cold, it was fairly easy. People are really nice. Make sure you bring enough change.
Yeah.
Just and just smile and be friendly, and people will gravitate towards you.
All right, and where could we find your work online? I know you release a lot of your comics through Kickstarter, but what about the back issues?
You could get it through my website, greenteapublishing.com.
Okay.
You could also follow me at Lady Green Tea on Twitter, and that's it.
All right, well, thank you, Vera. I hope you have a good TCAF.
Thank you so much.